this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing something special to you today. I had a little bit of a issue with some video that I recorded for the video that I was going to launch for today, and so I don't have the actual put together recording for it, but it's pretty simple, so I'm going to walk you through it just really quickly, and then I have something special, a different project that I thought I would share with you since I don't have a recording to give you for today. So that being said, let's check out my workspace. All right, so we are, as I mentioned, going to work on a special layout for the last ride of the night, which we actually didn't even expect to be the last ride of the night, but I think I mentioned that to you. We thought that this event with the snow coming down on Main Street was kind of our last hurrah for the evening, and we were all going back to our hotel rooms. Little did we know that my husband and son would come across another ride, yet one more ride, and on the ride for Soarin, you literally fly. So I thought it would be super appropriate to use the Planes, Automobiles, and Trains project recipe and show you how this comes together. It's a super fun one and pretty easy, really, all in all. So what I have on my desktop here today are some papers that I pre-selected from the paper pack from the Planes, Automobiles, and Trains, and if you are familiar with these, you know that there were 3 separate paper packs. So this all came from the Planes paper pack, and the stickers were kind of, I think, generic and applied to most everything, although this actually looks like maybe not. Maybe the stickers were just for planes, because this looks like it's pretty much just stuff in the air. So I take that back. Anyway, we also had these cool laser embellishments, and so I pulled out a couple of those. We may use those. Anyway, we're just going to have some fun today doing some different things. You can see the sample up here is using trains. They've got a big train here in this picture. This sample down here was for automobiles, and this sample here was for planes, and we do have our punch that makes an airplane, which we could use. I currently don't have this laser border available. I've used it at some point in time, but we could use the sticker that they've suggested here. And I've chosen different papers, so it's going to turn out a little bit different, like they all do. They're all unique. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so here is the cutting guide. Sorry, here's the cutting guide. I made some notes on here so that I would remember which papers I want to use where. And so I'm just going to go ahead and remove my sticker sheets because we won't get to those until later. And I'm going to remove these laser borders because those will be embellishments for later. We really don't need them cluttering up our workspace. I'm going to just scoot our adhesive to the side and grab my trimmer because that's mainly going to be what we need for this particular. Oh my goodness, pardon me. Goodness, I think I get nervous and I start to need to belch, which is frustrating. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cut the clouds. We need a 9x9 square, as you can see, and then we need a 3x12 strip and a 9x3 strip. Sometimes it's helpful to take a look at the photo or at the sketch of the assembled layout so you can actually see where the pieces are going to go. We're going to have a vertical strip that's wide. That's going to be our 3x12 strip right here. I'm sorry, it's the peach one right here, but you can see we're going to see it vertically. So we want our clouds to be looking appropriate in a vertical fashion. That means I need my vertical strip to be here. So I'm going to cut that first. I'm going to cut a 3 by 12 strip, and then we're going to cut this 9 by 3 strip off of the bottom. Okay, so here we go. We're going to cut 3 inches with our paper, with the top of our paper at the top of our trimmer, so that our clouds are going to be going the right direction. Okay, then I'm going to turn this paper and I'm going to cut 3 more inches off to make a 9-inch square. Doesn't matter whether you cut it off the top or the bottom. Save it though, it is a part of our layout, so you're going to set those aside. Then we're going to jump up and do our airplanes, which is the blue right here. Actually, I take that back. Let's go ahead and do these chevrons. And the chevrons, let's take a look at where they're going to go. The chevrons are going to go right here on the edge and right here on this edge, and then we're going to have one going across the bottom, and they're going to mat some, it's going to mat some photos for us. So taking that into consideration, we need to think about which direction we want our chevrons to go. I'm of the school that I don't think there's a right or a wrong way for chevrons to go. But if you are particular and you want them to go a certain direction, then make sure that you cut them appropriately. All right? So first we need, let's see. I had decided, and now I don't remember which way I had wanted to make these go. I think what I decided was I wanted them to go up and down. No, side to side. Side to side. Then it gives you kind of a flow to the side. Okay, so we're going to first cut excuse me. We're first going to cut a 1/2 inch off. We just want a 1/2 inch strip. Then we want a 2-inch strip. So I'm going to have to scoot my paper all the way over so I can use the 2-inch guide on the left. Okay, so there's 2 inches. Then I'm going to open that back up and we're going to cut a 4-inch piece. Alright, and we're going to turn that and cut it at 6 inches. These are mats. So we're going to make 2 mats. We're going to set those up there. Then we're going to cut another strip at 3 inches. Which we are now going to cut into 2 4-inch pieces, which will actually be 3 4-inch pieces, but we're only going to use 2 of them. And these are also mats. You'll have a 3rd mat if you desire, but the design only calls for 2. And then this remaining piece should be 2.5 inches. Mine is just a hair beyond, which it typically is. So I'm just going to trim mine and make sure that it's 2.5 inches. And then we need to cut this piece down to 8 inches. So I'm going to get rid of this little itty bitty bit. And then grab my arm on my trimmer, flip it out so I can measure 8 inches. Okay. And then this piece is extra. We're actually supposed to be using the opposite side of the paper for this piece, the 2.5 by 8 inch piece. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside. Now I am going to go ahead and grab my airplane piece. This has airplanes going all different directions all over it. It also has this on the back, so depending on if you'd rather this is more like a fast to fab kind of arrangement, which would be perfect and very cute for a fast to fab page, but I'm using the back side, so I'm not going to worry about that just now. This is directional though. If you'll notice, most of my planes are either headed this way or diagonally, so I'm going to keep them heading forward so that it doesn't mess up my mojo, so to speak. All right. You know how we're always talking about the flow of a page. So 2 by 12, there's one piece. Then we're going to cut another piece that's just a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to scoot my paper over and cut just a 1/2 inch. Then we're going to cut one that is 5 inches wide. So here we go, 5 inches. And we're going to turn this and cut 3 at 3 3/4. So 5. These are also going to be mats. 5 by 3 3/4. So you're going to put a 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 inch photo in here. There we go. That little piece is extra going over there. And then this piece is left over for us to punch a border with if we'd like to. So let's see what we're going to use and what we're going to need. I also have a piece of white cardstock out here on the table. And the reason is because I think I may be going to punch some clouds. We'll have to see how this comes together. But that may be what we do instead of punching this piece. We'll see. So I have that handy just in case I need it. I'll set it up there just to get it out of the way so that we can do some assembling. And for some reason, my all-purpose tool just really wants to be involved today. I'm going to set it up there so that it can stay out of the way. And this piece as well. Let me grab my pages. Okay, so this is the page we did before. It's going to go down here. I've got my photos, which I need to clear off of this page so that we can work with the layout first. Okay. Now what we're going to do is assemble this. So the first piece that I'm going to add, and let me just scoot this over a bit so that I can add this in. So hopefully you can see that. The first piece I'm going to put in is the big 9 by 9 square, which is this one. And it's going to go right here. And we're going to have, there is a border that goes above it. But again, it might end up being a punched border, or we could use one of our other borders. We're going to have to wait and see how that works. All right, so then we've got our, let's see, this border, our chevron border, is going to go here on the outside edge. And then we're going to do, which border? This one is going to go on the inside edge, and then we're going to have a sticker or a punched border or something go down the center there. Oh, I beg your pardon. There is another border that goes right down here, and it is the airplanes. So we're going to put the airplanes right in there as well. Okay, so we've got those three, and we'll likely put some kind of laser border or something down there. And then we've got our airplanes again, and our chevrons. Oh, isn't that sweet? Emily brought me a tulip. Thank you, Emily. See? We know spring has sprung. We have tulips in our yard. Love you. Okay. So the chevrons are going to go on the outside, right next to the jeeping, and then the airplanes will go next to them. All right. And then we should put another border on here too. And again, I'm still deciding on that. All right, so now I've got two more pieces here. This piece that is also 9 inches is actually going to be inverted and be sideways, but we're not going to notice it quite so much. It may look wrong right now because my clouds are going the wrong direction, but pictures are going to go on top of it and all will be well. And then this piece has in the directions, it says it's flipped over like this, but because the clouds match the paper that I chose so well, I'm going to leave the chevrons up because I think that that will work just fine. And that piece goes here. All right, so taking a look at my laser borders that I chose, I thought this one would look good if we added it over here to put a little bit of blue going down that strip. And I had thought that maybe we would add the clouds going across the top right here, because I can add a title on top of there if I want to. And then let's see, what could we do coming down the side here? So I have my airplane punch right here, and you'll notice in the sample on here for the airplane project recipe, they've got airplanes punched and lined up going across there. We might go ahead and punch some of those just to use as our embellishments, or along with our embellishments, but not yet. I think what I'd like to do is go ahead and punch a little bit of clouds, use my cloud punch, and maybe have the clouds on the side here with the airplanes. So let me just move this out of the way for a second while I do that. Because on the back of here, yeah, that's the other Fastifab, so we don't want to use that. Okay, so let's just punch a quick row of clouds. This one is a little bit, I find it a little tricky to line up. It shouldn't be tricky to line up, but for some reason, I want to move it out farther than it should be moved out. Just about every single time I try to move it too far. Now the clouds punch is a much newer punch. It was not around when we had this project recipe come out in 2020. So so it's nice that we have that now as an option to be able to use that. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do is I want a straight edge, and I want that to be just barely coming off of the edge of that cream. So I'm just going to barely put this up and over the area that's being cut, or that's already been punched, so that those clouds come right off of that straight edge, just like that. And then maybe what we'll do is go ahead and punch some airplanes that we can use. And we'll make the airplanes white as well. Isn't that funny? I just flipped the punch over and I flipped the paper over. We're so used to paper being double-sided that we forget that cardstock is the same on both sides. We don't have to flip it over. Aren't those little airplanes just the cutest? Hopefully you were able to get this punch and keep it in your stash. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should probably do one more just really quickly, just so that we have an odd number. Alright. Now we have our cute little airplanes that we can make zip around. Let's go ahead and get some of this put down so that we can start deciding where pictures are going to go. Alright, so let me set this page up here for a second. Grab my adhesive. We're going to start with this one that's going to go straight down the edge. Sometimes my adhesive just decides it's really going to stick, and then I end up with 3 inches of adhesive where I only wanted a ½ inch. That's user error, I am certain, because it doesn't happen all the time. Just some of the time. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and put down this strip. Remember, this was the 2 by 12 with the airplanes, so make sure your airplanes are flying left to right, or your mojo will get all goofed up, and we don't want that. Right? Mojo. I don't even know if they use that term anymore. That's so funny. That's the term we grew up with. Okay, I'm going to put some repositionable adhesive on the back of the clouds. We're going to make these clouds come right off that seam. So I don't want to see the seam, I only want to see that there are clouds there, and underneath are airplanes that are flying out of the clouds. Just like that. Okay. Alright, now let's see. There are hot air balloons on this design of paper, so you'll want to make sure your hot air balloons are going upright if you're using this, if you chose this paper to use. Okay, I put this approximately 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of my page. Okay, that gives me about 2 1/4 inches from the top to add fun things to. And then this piece, I'm not going to adhere just yet. I'm going to wait until I have my photos so that I know where I want it to go. Okay, let's grab this piece and set that guy over there and that guy over there. Let's start from this outer edge. Okay, so we're just going to add our adhesive all the way down in about ½ inch increments, unless your tape runner decides to have its own little revolution like mine did just a second ago. We're going to put it right up against the jeeping and even with the bottom of the page. Then we're going to add our airplane strip. Then we're going to add our cloud strip. And these are all butted right up against one another, no gap. Okay, now we're going to add our 9 by 3 inch strip to the center. And we're going to do that by putting our pages together so we can make sure that this piece lines up with the piece on the other side. So really, where you put the piece on the left or the right is not as big of a deal as making sure that they're both the same, right? So these two pieces should be the same distance from the bottom and the top so that they're even. Okay, now this piece we're going to put down, going down this side right here. You can have your airplane headed down, or you can have your airplane headed up, but if you have your airplane headed up, then your luggage is upside down. So I don't know which way is better. There is a brown side, but I like the blue best. So I don't know what to do here. I think my airplane's just going to be headed down because at least then it's still heading forward. So that's what we're going to do. Oh. Okay, hitting the high points because there's lots of voids in this particular border. And I'm just going to center this in the middle of the 2-inch strip and keep it straight going all the way up. Okay, now we decided, I think, that we were not going to use the clouds. Did we decide we're not going to use the clouds? Here, let's take a look here. So what I would do is probably go ahead and cut them around that cloud right there so that we don't end up with a portion, like a straight portion of clouds. I don't know, I'm going to have to think about that one a little bit more. Okay, so these three here that we said were cut at 5 by 3 3/4, these are going to go be horizontal, and they're going to go right there. Then we're going to have 2 that are going to go this way, 2 mats. And then we're going to have these 2 which can go, we could flip these over, and that might help since we have this down here as our, still with our chevron pattern. Okay, so those pictures are going to overlap slightly at the bottom and be vertical. Now that's according to this project recipe. Okay, now we don't have to stick with the project recipe. If our photos indicate that we need to switch them, that they need to go a different direction, we can make a different arrangement. So let's check our photos and see what we're going to need to do here. I have a lot of horizontal photos and 2 that are kind of not, they're not taken spot on. Can you see that? That's the level. I mean, that's looking straight on, so the camera was turned funky. Okay, so let's see. Can I crop these down so that they will fit into these? I can crop down there just of scenery. So that is not a big deal. And these I actually could cut and make 2 separate photos and put here. So that might actually be the winning idea there. Cut those in half. We could put that one right there in the middle. We could put these 2 on the top and the bottom there. But these 2 over here, I'm going to have one that I could make a square photo from, and this one is more elongated. So we're going to need to adjust these and make one be square and one be horizontal. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut the one of my husband down and make it a square, and it'll fit right in there. And then we'll kind of tip each one of them to the side a little bit. And this one will go here. And then I can use this lower square to explain the whole story, right? So that one will go there. This one will go here. Okay, yeah, I think that'll work. And I'm not going to worry about these, although it might be fun to have that one that says Soarin. So maybe I will grab that extra mat there and try to make that into an appropriate sized photo. We'll see. See if I'm up to that task, right? Okay, so I need my trimmer to go ahead and cut down. Pardon me, I didn't take care of my tools, and so I'm struggling a bit. There we go. Okay, so this one we're going to cut down and make it a 4x4 square. And actually I'm going to have to cut it down a little smaller than 4x4 because my mat is going to end up being 4x4. So I'm going to make that 3 3/4. And we're going to make this 3 3/4 going this way. Then I'm going to take this mat and we're going to cut it to 4 inches. All right. Now he fits. Yay! Isn't that cool, sweetie? You fit. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit. I love this, how it's dark and then lighter right here. So I'm going to cut this one down so it fits into my mat by taking a little bit of the sidewalk and a little bit of this side. Okay, so now that one will work there. And these, what was the measurement on those again? We need a 3 3/4 by 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. There's one. And the other one of my son is going to be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Wouldn't necessarily know that that was the same picture, but that's okay. And then these we need to cut down so that they fit into these mats. So they need to be 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So 3 1/2. 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So just taking off the side would make it look like that, which is fairly centered. But I think I'm going to try and center it just a little bit better. That's a little better. Four 3/4. All right. There's that one. And then this one. Okay, let's see. 4 3/4 going this way. And we need 3 3/4 going this way. So let's 3 3/4. 3 3/4? No, sorry, 3 1/2. 4 3/4, 3 1/2. So to here. Actually, that works out really well for this photo. Oh, my son is playing a game upstairs. Clearly, he did not see my sign. Okay, so then we've got 3 1/2. Remember, 3 1/2. 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. What do we not need in this picture? Probably this side. So 4 3/4. This. That one can go up there. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these photos mounted real quick. Alright, so I have all the photos mounted, and some of them I've already gone ahead and adhered to the page, and I'm just going to adhere these last couple, and they are going to go, they're going to go actually closer to here so that we have a little bit more of that funness showing. So I'm just going to center the one in the middle best I can. Actually, it's a little bit low. So let's try that again, shall we? Apparently my eyeball is a little off today. So we'll just scoop this like this and like this. Let me take a look here. That's better, I think. Then this one is going to go down here. And this one's going to go up here. We have a really close member of our family who loved to fly, who recently passed away in his 80s, but he just loved to fly. His planes out of our municipal airport growing up. So airplanes, between that and the fact that my dad worked with airplanes his whole career, airplanes hold a very special place in my heart because of that. All right, so I'm going to, as I said, going to curve this complete that cloud, so I can put that cloud right there. Then I'm going to come back over here and fix this one just a little bit so that it's not quite so off. Still not going to look quite perfect, but that's okay. It's closer than it was. Okay, and then that's going to go up there. And then what we'll do is we'll make some of our airplanes kind of peek out from it. So I'm going to pop this up with some foam squares. A couple of foam squares just to give it a little bit of dimension. All right. Like so. Same thing for this one. Let's use some of the littler ones for the end bits. Those bits. And I just noticed that I guess it's okay. I was thinking that maybe I had put this one upside down because see the curves are going a different direction, but I think it'll be all right. Okay, so got those. I do have this other little picture that would be really fun to include maybe right in here, so that we have that. Let me see. So those were 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Let's see if I can get this to cut down to that. All I did was try to keep the Soarin going the right direction. And now I'm going to turn it so that this is at 2 3/4 on the grid. So that's our other horizontal line. And now I cut that straight down. What does that give us? 3 3/4. So we didn't quite make a full square, but that's okay. We'll have that little bit down there slightly cut off. It'll be all right. And we're going to add this to our layout as well. Hang on. Come on. Got a little bit off in my centering. All right, that's better. Okay. Now we could either go ahead and put this on top like this, or kind of off to the side like this. Maybe we'll just do that. We'll leave it on kind of on top. That layered scrapbooky look, right? Okay, now I think we need some airplanes and then we will be about done. We may need some things. Let's see. I'm going to do this one. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy you a plane ticket. And that's sort of the same thing. You can do up, up, and away also. Up, up, and away. We'll save that one for the other. We will do an airplane with each one of those and an arrow. We'll figure out what color arrow. So here's our airplanes. And I think we can fit just one little foam square guy on the back. Let's see if that will fit. Yeah, he does. He just fits right there in the center. So that's good to know. So we can put this, let's see, where are we going to put these? We're going to put some airplanes across the top. And so I think these are going to go down here on the bottom. So up, up, and away. It's just stuck down. Then we have an airplane. I want my airplane to be really easy to see. So I'm going to stick him kind of off the edge like that. And then I'm going to grab, let's see, I'm going to grab a blue arrow. Stick a foam square on the back of that. And add that to my little cluster. And I'm gonna put another one on the back of this one. We're gonna have a boarding pass. Money can't buy you happiness. I'm gonna put that right between the two little pictures. We'll put this guy right here and add an arrow. Maybe instead of an arrow, we'll add some wings. Put some flying wings. Not to be confused with jump wings, which my husband already has. So they do look a little bit like that. Okay, so put some wings on there. Then we need to add our other little airplanes across the top. So we can have this guy right here flying out of the clouds. This guy kind of up here. This guy kind of half half in the clouds, half not in the clouds, maybe. I'll have this one. Let's see if I can get him under there. Like so. And I've got one more. One more punched. We can put, where can we put this guy? Like so, maybe. No maybes, he's stuck down, so he's good to go. All right, I believe we are done with this one. What do we think? I like it. I think it turned out really well. And I'm gonna add some journaling down here to talk about the whole story that I gave you and explained before, so we don't forget that. Cool. I think it turned out really cute. I hope you've enjoyed being with me and spending this creative time, and I hope that you'll join me next time. And until then, I hope you have many more creative moments. Thanks so much. Have a great day.